All right, let's do it, man.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to My T Sharp, the podcast, aka the Black Awareness Rally podcast, which has been affectionately taken from the movie Coming to America. You could be rocking with anybody else in the world right now, but you are here with us, and for that, we do appreciate you. It's your man Pledge, alongside my main man Big.
Oh, what up, bro? What up? What up? My bad. I got two audios going on, trying to make sure we sound good.
It's all good, man, and we want to welcome all the party people to the discussion. So, B, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, just trying not to go outside. Now it's getting hard. I'm finally getting tested. Finally getting tested, man.
It's very tempting at this point, isn't it?
Dude, like between Instagram and Facebook and going out here to drive through to get something to eat, it's kind of crazy out there. Like seeing a lot of pool parties, club parties, day parties, night parties, parties.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot more people out and about as well. Um, Still kind of hesitant, still kind of reluctant to see, how this weekend pans out, and maybe might venture out a little bit more than what has been the normal over the last couple of months.
Yeah. Good luck to you. Uh, I'm getting that itch, man. I don't know what to do right now.
I hear you.
Sorry. Let's run it.
Oh, so you want to get right to it, huh?
Let's wasting time, B.
I know we've been talking a lot this week about several things. You heated. You ready to hop on some of these subjects. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah, it's up there. Uh, First and foremost, Black Awareness Rally brought to you by the fine folks at McDowell's. Don't you forget it.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Uh, Randy Watson and Sex with Chocolate is also one of our wonderful sponsors. Got a shout out to the good people, and wouldn't be able to do this without them. So,
No doubt.
Black Awareness Rally moments. Let's get to the Miss Black Awareness Rally pageant contestants. First up, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Dr. Kizmikia Corbett of the National Institute of Health. That is a federal program that is also trying to make science happen, but they're also taking in information and collaborating with different scientists around the country. She's been collaborating with Moderna, and Moderna's been making a vaccine that is cleared phase one of the FDA three-step process to have a vaccine created and share it with the world. So she's the lead scientist on that. She's a young black sister. She's in North Carolina right now. But big ups to her for leading the charge on what might be the cure for the world.
Yes. Yes. Big ups to her, definitely. And I know that just to kind of go a little bit deeper into it, she's been getting a lot of pushback on what she's been trying to do, people
Mm-hmm.
discrediting her and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's fighting a good fight. So we want that keep sister to keep it going. I want to throw something in real quick.
Yeah.
Today is actually my mother's birthday, so I want to give a shout out to her and
Okay.
say happy birthday, mom. I'm not sure if you watching, but you might catch this at a later time. So just know that your son appreciates you and your two grandsons appreciate you too. We shouted out to her earlier today, but I just wanted to get that in on the show as well.
Hey man, happy birthday to the one and only Miss Jackie Pledge. Good people, good
No
people,
doubt.
good people.
Yes.
I had my sound buzzing a little bit. Got to try to fix that. Not sure what's the problem with that.
You actually sound better now than you did earlier.
Earlier? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to Miss Pledge. Uh, you can run that second one.
Now that's from you. So go ahead.
Oh, Captain Ramoshe Nelson. She made history as the first black female officer for the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. That's a division. That's a troop in the Air Force, and she's spearheading it. So that's another huge
Awesome.
accomplishment for the sisters. So, hey man, I don't know, man. They real deal finna save the world this year on this one. Like all jokes aside, no shade. We ain't talking about no science fiction stuff. They real deal finna save the world. So, man,
Yeah,
be
and
proud.
I know that's something we're gonna touch upon later
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
trying to, put their hands all over this election that we got coming up. So,
yeah, man.
so yeah, so stay tuned because it's gonna get real interesting over these next few weeks, especially with some of the comments that were made in the last couple of days.
Right.
But that's just a preview of what we got coming up for y'all on this show.
True, true. Um, Community moment sponsored by McDowell's. Again, they got the golden arches. We got the golden arcs.
The Narcs, no doubt.
Oh no, man, this is fun, man. I like this. I mean, shout out
Yeah.
to the listeners for suggesting we, wrap it up. No, excuse me, take it up a notch with the thematics from the show and the film. So appreciate y'all
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
First
what's
up,
common knowledge to us, is part of
right,
the film. Some things have to be explained to certain people,
right, right.
because the film predates some people to where it came out before they were born. But yeah,
That's our
just
fault
about
for not.
95% of the things we say are a reference to the film. So
Oh, yeah, a lot of people
we
don't.
have to give it its proper credit.
Yeah, not everybody is aware of the cult classic. So anyway, first
Yeah.
up, we have Jamari Pinkert's Hella Cocktail Company creates bitters and sodas. That's notable because it becomes the first non-alcoholic cocktail beverage of its kind to be sold at all Whole Foods around the country. Not some, not a couple, but all. That's a brother spearheading that company. He's a co-founder and the current CEO. So shout out to him on that.
That that might actually get me to go to a Whole Foods. I
Right?
mean, I've never,
Right?
I up until this point, there's been no reason, but
Yeah.
that's a legitimate reason. Yeah, so shout out to him. Um, that's a major move, major play. So,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, and we got the art segment that's specifically up for Sexual Chocolate and Mr. Watson. Uh, the rapper Quavo, uh, the supergroup, well, not even supergroup, but superstar group, Migos. He decided to go back to high school and get his high school diploma. And so while that might not be the sexiest accomplishment in music, that's certainly something that I know a lot of kids will look at and try to replicate, and it will resonate the black world over. So I appreciate him for not being ashamed to share that journey and actually letting the community see it. So I know that's not necessarily related to music, like it's not a song or anything, but it's still a really huge deal because never underestimate how powerful and influential music artists are to children and young adults alike.
yeah, I think the big thing is that it's not about the amount of money that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Irregardless of that, it shows that he wanted to complete something and shows how important education is. I mean, you got countless example of Michael Jordan going back to get his degree at UNC after he had finished. Shaq going back and getting his degree. So I think those just serve as examples of regardless of the amount of money that you got in the bank, education is important. So it serves as a good example for young people. So
Right, right,
big ups
right.
to all those brothers.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, man. So Atlanta stand up again. Uh, versus battles have been going strong. They gave a huge shout out to Jamaica this time with Bounty
Yeah, with
Killer.
Beanie Man
Huh?
and Bounty Killer
Yeah,
versus.
Bounty Killer and Beanie Man going strong. Head up last night. It was awesome, man. They actually made sure they were in the same building and they did it together. So
Yes.
I like the little setup. I didn't watch. Well, I didn't actually listen. Let me say that. But I had it playing a couple times in the background. I overslept. For some reason, my sleep cycle is completely backwards right now. So
Oh, okay.
I happened to catch the tail end of that, and I thought it was pretty cool that they were together. So that's another big moment for the culture.
Yeah. And I want to throw one in real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Give a shout out to my wife. she is the one who actually cut my hair. So
Word?
I want to give a shout out to her for her work of art, which is
Word?
my head. Yeah. So big shout outs to her for
God,
doing a
boy.
good job and keeping your boy nice and tight, nice and neat.
Hey, everybody out there in TV land, if y'all could find one of these sisters that's just out here full of black girl magic and saving the world one cause at a time, can y'all get me one? Next time y'all
Yeah.
out there, get me one. Cause
I know it's a sketchy situation that you got to work with. It's not the
no
best
man, you
canvas,
straight. She got you right.
but uh but yeah, she did a good job. So shout outs to her
No,
for
that's what's up, man.
I'm saying
That's pretty
for the
dope.
nice and neat cut.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm kind of touched my heart. All right, all right, all right, all right. Y'all wake up. We're finna get into it. We're finna get into it. We're finna get into it. Let's do it. So this week's topic, number one, is obviously who ain't black. What? That's the title of the show. Uh, but by that we mean, what does it mean to be black? What things you have to do? Is it a performative thing? Uh, who decides what that list of deeds should be? Is it just about your complexion? And so the biggest thing we got running right now is, I'll say the first thing first. Last week, we shouted out this sister for making a history for being one of the four women that was occupying the top two spots on Billboard hits. And she's always kind of been an outsider, but this last week, she kind of got a little heat for her past. So if you're not aware, Doja Cat, who's the young lady pictured in the left-hand corner, she's a rapper, and she got some heat from Black Twitter for being exposed in some alt-right incel. Incel means involuntarily celibate men, involuntarily celibate men, and it was a chat group, video chat, mind you, that she frequented. She said since her younger days, where they basically do a lot of hate speech. Private thing, but she's been participating in that for some years now. And so word got out about that this week, and she even has a song that is titled after one of the running jokes in that community called Didn't Do Nothing. So if we're not familiar with that phrase, didn't do nothing is a pejorative phrase that culture uses to make fun of the mothers and relatives of the unarmed black men and women who are slain by police and other vigilantes around the country. And so what they're mocking is our ability to say the phrase, he didn't do anything or she didn't do anything or similar phrases, and they think that the way we say it is funny. And so in their culture, they have that phrase, and it's really funny to them. And Doja Cat made a song titled Didn't Do Nothing, or Didn't Do Nothing. And so this week, we want to talk about, is it too easy to be black? Or is it too open? Like, is anybody welcome to just come in and do whatever they want to do and be like, oh, we black too because I said or did this. Y'all should let me in. Invite me to the cookout.
Oh boy, where do we start? Where do we start?
You
I
got it, B.
mean,
You got it.
this is, as I said, the thing is that in the two examples that we have, whether it be Doja Cat or whether it be Joe Biden, I think we're going to get into the Joe Biden situation more in depth in a little bit. These are people that are trying to not take advantage of blackness, but try to use, the blackness to gain clout for their personal gain. In the Joe Biden situation, he's using, he needs a black vote, obviously. In the Doja Cat situation, she's, using hip hop to gain her popularity or to, monetize off of an art form that, it's not ours, but something that has predominantly been by black people.
It's ours.
So So it's not them trying to be black; it's them trying to profit off of black people, and that has been problematic since our um, journey to America, if you want to call it that. You
Oh,
know what I'm
I'm saying
saying?
with no journey.
so so that's what I'm saying. So it's a tale that's been going on since our arrival here, um, in the good U.S. of A.
So we just sparked the wildfire in the comment section. Do we need to cancel her? Is that a cancelable offense? Should we be mad? Should we stop supporting her? Because she wouldn't have made it to number one without us supporting her. She wouldn't have been no viral hit without us supporting her. Nicki Minaj co-signed and gave her a record. She just put out a remix with Weeknd the past couple days. Uh, Marlene is saying in the comments that hip hop is ours. That is our music. That is our art form. That is our culture. Well, that is one of the items that is a part of our culture. So, is this one time we're allowed to just be like, nah, she canceled?
I mean, I think with music comes and goes so fast. I don't necessarily think there's a big cancel culture in the music. It's just that we just don't rock with you no more. Plain and simple. I'm saying like we know what you're about now, and I think in music it's just one of the easiest things, especially since it's such you know somebody's hot this week, next week they're not. I think in music it's just we don't rock with you no more. You're not gonna get no features, none of that no more. So I think it's fairly easy. I think comparing it to the Joe Biden situation, which we're going to talk about, it's a lot more layers to this Joe Biden situation than there is this Doja Cat situation. I mean, Doja Cat, we don't listen to you no more. It's going to be hard for any artist to give you a feature because they're going to be looked upon. People going to be like, "What you working with her for now?" So I think in music, it's a lot easier for us to just
So we just punish her by letting her streams drop and unfollowing her. Cause I heard she lost 100,000 followers on Instagram in 24 hours. Is that
and
enough? Is that?
that's probably what hurt her heart the most
I
is
mean,
the
actually, she's one of those people that created a persona that is all about controversy, pushing agendas forward, and it's kind of campy, just like her music. But I don't think she wanted this being best friends with racist white people thing to get out. I don't think this is one of them things she like doing it just for fun. So it made me think of this topic that people were requesting we talk about last week. Is
yeah.
there a problem with code switching? Like, is she black enough for us to accept her before she started rapping? Because some people are saying she wasn't being accepted by us before that, and she then had to run to them because they was the only people that were willing to accept her, even if it was just for sex.
I mean, but you put something on wax though. Like that means that you weren't the only person that was involved in this process. That means you had a producer, you had, somebody had to lay the track, somebody made a beat. So I mean, it's not like you dropping a word here. The fact that you put a whole song together, that's like some deep rooted stuff to me. I mean, I think that's way out of line. Like you're aligning yourself with a certain group of people.
Okay, so the chat going up by an example that they feel like kind of sort of relates to this. Chrisette Michelle, we canceled her because she sung at uh, Trump's inauguration party. Excuse me, y'all. I'm struggling. And she got canceled. Like they trashed her. Like she literally had to run into hiding. I ain't seen her in a couple of years. Is this the same thing? Like, what do we need to?
No, no,
What
no.
should we be
Chrisette
doing?
Michelle was singing her songs though.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm
She
just
was. She didn't make up a special Trump inauguration song. She was singing her stuff.
okay. So let me ask this then, because I think all of this is falling under one topic, one problem that I think the black community has in general. She, well, not even she. Doja Cat wasn't raised by black people. She didn't know her dad. Never met him. He's the black parent in her parent group, and so she never knew him. And no, she wasn't raised as a black girl. But this is my question to us: what is blackness? And I personally don't think we know what it is, except for some cookouts, certain dances, certain songs, certain shoes, things that we put on. But what is it that we need?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that I think that culture is something that we is not inherited when we're born. Some culture is something of how we are raised and how we what we experience and the things that we're a part of. So you can take this black child that was born to two that has a one black parent and another parent of another race, and if they're not exposed to you know if they're not brought up in a black household, they might miss some of those important things, that go into black culture. So I think that it's not biology, but I think there's two parts of what we when we say blackness is one how we perceive the world, but it's also how the world perceives us.
Mm,
So no matter how we feel about ourselves, when we go out of the house and people see us as black people, we get looked at and get prejudices from other people that you know that we can't control at all.
okay.
So I think it's a twofold situation.
So, in response to that, they go BB&B again. Damn what they doing. What we doing to control our stuff and who is allowed to come in and out of our culture. So my present example, uh, a clearly defined set of group rituals and group think or a culture is the Chinese culture that's present in America. Now, we might not have a unified country that all black people come from. We don't have, certain stuff that everybody would agree is the place that we all came from. So let's set that aside for a second. But we all in America. So the Chinese, came to America and they have hubs of America called Chinatown. And if you go inside of those hubs, it's very clearly defined what they mean when they say Chinatown. All the businesses run by Chinese are owned by Chinese. Most of the residents there are Chinese. So there's a running joke that all black people come from Atlanta. And I'm up here and I'm looking at Atlanta, right? And all I see is the only thing we care about is getting money and trying to make another person that's black feel bad for not getting money or not owning the things that we own. So right now, all I'm saying or all I'm seeing about black culture is get money by any means necessary and then embarrass your fellow black person for not having the items that you bought with that money.
Stunting on them.
Stunting on them. We love to stunt. And so
Oh
now
yeah.
I think this is the chickens coming home to roost. Both situations, all the situations. Travis Scott, Chrisette Michelle, Doja Cat, and Joe Biden. Because we don't have a system in place or a value system for that matter that makes it hard for people to just come in and out of our stuff and walk all over us like a doormat. You get anybody that sings and dances a certain way or says a couple phrases, we just let them in.
But that's the thing though is when your identity is tied to entertainment or something that's as I'm not gonna say as frivolous as that, but when it's tied to entertainment, which is something that other people can do, like you say, it needs to be a value system of what makes up of because it has to be more so than something that somebody can just put together a performance or something like that, and all of a sudden they are identified or they come into the fold.
But right now, we don't have anything. So I see a couple people in the comments saying, Mari saying Doja Cat shouldn't be allowed to profit off of our likeness or the culture. So it seems like Umari says we should have some different protocols for people just being able to walk in here and fake it till they make it. Kendrell saying Chrisette Michelle had a miscarriage that the media contributed to behind earning a living, aka I guess he's saying that she shouldn't have been canceled and we should have let her stay in the group because she was doing black stuff for white people. I guess that's what he was saying. Racist white people, because Trump's racist. I'm not dressing that up. But I think we have a problem, and it's evident here in the chat. We don't know what we have or should do to establish black American culture. You go to Nigeria, they got some clearly defined stuff. You go to any other part, you go to Ghana, they got some clearly defined stuff. Jamaica, they got some clearly defined stuff. Haiti, they got some clearly defined stuff. What we got? You just rap and sing real good, and you in there?
I mean, but that's the thing, is that it shouldn't be based off of that. It shouldn't be like, oh, that was an affront on our culture because of music. Like that should not, as I said, not saying that entertainment is frivolous, but it has to be something of more depth than that of this is the holy grail. Once you stomp on this, you've violated all of us. Like it has to be something deeper than that.
Okay, so let me say this now.
So that's what I'm saying.
Let me say this. So I see Kelly. Kelly says the problem is we try and represent all black people by one opinion of what blackness is, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not a monolithic group. That is not what we're saying. I completely agree. But when one of us does something wrong, everybody else lumps us in one giant group. We could have did something wrong 700 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. For example, Nat Turner and some other rebellions during the slavery period, the antebellum South. Antebellum does not mean peace. It means the time before war. The antebellum South. And they started cracking down and making more restrictive programs and launching what we now know as the police. The police is still active. Some almost 200 years ago, 190 years ago. 189 if you want to be technical. Now, why can't we make some stuff that we should be collectively trying to figure out? And I know it ain't possible to get all of us to do the same thing at the same time because we can't even get 25 of us to do something when it comes to buying the same house in the same neighborhood so we can run a block. It's really hard to do. We can't even get 10 of us to do it. But what's wrong? What's so wrong with us trying to have a agreed set of principles that we try to live by?
I mean, the thing is that the problem that I see is I think that, like, if we take what Joe Biden said, right? You ain't black.
Don't do
it. The problem is, I'm just saying. I'm just no. I'm not justifying him saying that at all.
No, I'm saying I was going to run the clip for the people that don't know.
Oh, he's going to run the clip. Okay.
Let me run the clip. Hey, we're going to run the clip.
Run the clip.
To show
run the clip.
To show what Joe Biden did, because Joe Biden, he just tried to walk up in the crib because he saw the door wide open and he heard music playing. He figured he'd just walk in and say something, and he was going to be accepted. Let's look at what he tried to get up with.
Right.
Oh, it ain't running. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Let me run that back real quick. Let me get that set up for y'all. All right, here we go. Let me get that.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
Go ahead, players. What you saying? Because, again, Joe just saw the door wide open, heard some music playing, and he saw one nigga he knew named Charlemagne. And Charlemagne was like, yeah, I need to talk to you out back anyway, so come on through. And my dog came in there, he was like, hey, what up, my niggas?
As I said, Joe Biden was wrong for that, but I'm going to say this, though. We have put him in that position.
Because what?
Because we automatically gave him our vote in the primaries.
Why we gave it to him?
I don't, and I can't say we, because in full disclosure, I am not a registered Democrat. I am an independent. I do not belong to any political party. But I will say that in the process of the primaries is that black people overwhelmingly helped Joe Biden win the primary. You got to understand, before the states with high black population started voting, Joe Biden was not the leading candidate. Once states with black voters got into started voting, whatever, those are the states that put Joe Biden as the leading Democratic nominee. And so Joe Biden, he understands leverage. Joe Biden is saying, look here, you can either vote for me or you can vote for Trump. And he's saying, I know how y'all feel about Trump. So as long as I'm a tad bit better, I automatically got your vote. So if it was time for us to start, like holding Joe Biden's feet to the fire, it was when we had other options. We can't wait till we get down to one option to start saying, oh, now we got to start holding this dude accountable. Oh, if you're going to get our vote, you better have a black woman vice president.
Hey, you too far in the weeds, B?
Nah. It's too late in the game now, as I said, because we could either do one. We could vote for vote by Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
We can not vote for anybody, or we can vote for Donald Trump.
Okay.
Two of those three will not help us out at all.
So what you
saying,
saying we
so
should be
Joe,
doing?
It's too late in the game.
So
that's what I'm saying. It's too late in the game. It's too late in the game. What Joe Biden said was messed up, but you know what Joe Biden said is that what other options do they have? It's either me or Trump. So as I said, so he came into that interview. He didn't have to get prepared. He didn't have to come with a humble tone. He didn't have to come any presidential stance at all when he came to that interview. It was from the get-go of this is all I'm all y'all got. That was his tone, and he showed y'all exactly how he felt about black people when he made that comment. And as I said, as somebody who understands leverage like him, he knows that what can he say to piss off enough black people to where they won't vote for him and they start voting for Donald Trump? What can he say to turn people off from that?
You think
there's nothing he can say or do? I don't think he did it on purpose. I just think he has a nonchalant attitude, like they don't got no other options. They empowered me by voting for Joe Biden is saying they empowered me by voting for me in the primary. Therefore, they have no other option. If it was time, like I don't know if you're going to show the clip, but I know that the black sisters got together almost demanding. My bad.
So let me bring us back real quick because players on fire about this, and I think rightfully so. But this what I want to know, because somebody even stated in the chat, Mrs. Kelly, she said
no. It's actually Brother Kelly.
Oh, my bad. I can't tell. It's two people in the. I'm sorry. My
it's all good.
But
he's a good friend of mine, so
yeah.
Shout out to Kelly.
They had a good question. Like, I see a lot of people saying a lot of different things about the coaching. People want to know who's responsible for us having a set of guidelines for us to make sure this Joe and Doja and Chrisette and Travis Scott stuff don't happen again. Like, not players. Jarrell brought up a stat about we being hypocritical by watching sports that are overwhelmingly run by white men and populated by black people. We put Biden in this position because we elected him because of his closeness to Barack Obama. Like he got the nomination because of how close he was.
Him being close to Barack Obama is like saying Scott Burrell should be in the Hall of Fame because he was on the same team as Michael Jordan. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
with you. I'm with you on this. But this one bringing the buck back to us. The hell y'all gonna do about it so it don't happen again? So Kelly said,
in this situation with Joe Biden, ain't nothing we can do about it.
I ain't talking about that. That's over. I ain't even said that's over. We got something we can do. We'll talk about that later. What is it that we need to be doing so we don't get got again? Because it seems like all you got to do is say something you heard in the rap song, which you can have one of your interns look up, And all you got to do is say it at the right time. We talking to a black person. Serve us some fried chicken and grits in a black neighborhood when you out there campaigning. All you got to do is rap and do something that's extremely popular with black people and shake your booty and be on TV. And then black people just, oh my God, I love her. She's so fun. Oh. We're in this position because y'all don't want to come up with a set of rules. And Kelly, who's responsible for it if we not? This is the same situation we had with the Aubrey case. You got black people out here dying and unarmed and being and murdered and all these different things when we know what we dealing with. This ain't new stuff. 16, 19, this has been happening. Stop complaining. Shut up. I'm tired. I don't want to hear it. What you going to do to stop it? How y'all going to let people run in, take a poop on your couch, leave with your money and your food, and then you get mad? You let them in the house. So who's responsible for your house? You gonna call the cops? You know the cops ain't gonna come help you. You in the black community, you in Atlanta, you in Decatur, you in Pittsburgh, you in Sulphur Springs, and you gonna call the cops hoping they come and deal with your situation. They ain't gonna do it but come and blame you. What we doing, dog? Why we still waiting on somebody to save us?
And another thing with the Democratic primary elections, we had two viable black options, but what do we normally do? We normally cannibalize ourselves. So as opposed to supporting the campaign of Kamala Harris, we talked about her record as a prosecutor, which is what prosecutors are supposed to do. And then we talked about Cory Booker, to where a lot of people felt he wasn't down enough. And so who did we?
That's the problem. That's
what I'm saying. But I'm saying we had black candidates.
Yeah, like five of them.
I'm saying we had them in place or whatever. Mm-hmm. But who do we support? Who do we put our voting power behind? The same person we always do. And then I'm saying just because he was close to Barack Obama. I mean, I'm saying, so we got what we asked for. That's what I'm saying, is that we got what we asked for. We put him in a position to where he's empowered to say stuff because he knows he has the leverage right now.
But
he knows that
But we mad though.
We mad. I'm saying, but we like I told you the other day, we empowered a monster. We built a monster in this situation. We have no other options. It's too late in the game for us to switch the game up.
I ain't on the politics stuff right now. We got a problem with our culture, period. What we seeing in this political stuff, and again, LA said don't conflate Doja and Biden. I'm doing it, goddammit. Because the problem is we just let motherfuckers walk in here, get a plate, and leave, and ain't no compensation for it. Y'all keep letting it happen. And I'm saying y'all. Because I know growing up, I was othered because I didn't have some cultural, it ain't even cultural norms, but some identifiable items as a kid that people thought black people were supposed to have. Now, when I was in one park, that was a problem. When I was in a different park, it wasn't a problem. That was all about affluence. If I was in the hood part, niggas was like, oh, you ain't got on the Scottie Pippins or the blah, blah, blahs. And I had to validate myself by being a hooper. And it was like, oh, well, you cool, you just ain't flashy like us. But then when I went and hooped at a neighborhood part that was closer to my house with some white kids, it was just, oh, you're cool, oh, and you're good. Like, it was just based on merit alone. So we don't have a guiding principle for what we want from anybody. I don't care if it's music, movies, TV, politics. When are we gonna be responsible for what's happening to us? Stop putting the buck on somebody else. We don't even know what we think we need.
I'm not blaming. I'm saying, but I think, like you said, I think sometimes it's divisiveness in our own culture. Mm-hmm. Like they might saying, "Oh, you don't have this, therefore." I mean, and as I said, not to defend Joe Biden, but these are things that we say inside the culture. You ain't black because of certain things. It may be because of the way you speak, or some, but. It's a very divisive nature to where it's like, because you don't fit a majorative, and once you kind of stray away from the majorative or whatever, they say that you don't fit into to what all black people do or whatever. So I think we have to stop letting little things like that divide us, and not kicking people, outside of the group or making them feel like outsiders because they might not do things in a certain way or have certain things or whatever, or because of the way they carry themselves. So I think things like that are, kind of keep us from uniting the way we should.
I mean, I feel like those are good points, and some people in the chat have some legitimate statements that they wanted us to address. Right now, we had a question about who let Joe Biden to the barbecue, and I'm gonna tell you, like I told it in the chat, we did with the Uncle Joe memes and the flirtatious nature and comments on his pictures about him being when he was a young man and talking about Joe can get it. And Joe good with me, he's sexy and all this crazy stuff we were saying on the internet at the time. Y'all know they see that, right? I know just because we think we just shared it on our wall and it got 20 likes and 15 comments, it wouldn't reach up to the White House. They got data on this stuff. Where you think they get the phrasings from? And then as far as, I missed another comment, but.
So basically you're saying Joe ain't said nothing that we ain't already said before.
No, it ain't that. It's Joe felt comfortable saying that because we gave him a pass because he was in pictures next to Barack Obama.
No, the most powerful thing we can do, which is vote. That's what gives him the ultimate pass. That we
it wasn't that.
I'm saying we've put our voting power behind.
No, I'm with you.
So,
on
I mean,
that.
I think that's the most.
That's
I think that's the most powerful thing you can do for somebody.
No, I'm saying now that's what just happened with the primaries and all that. That's completely true. But what I'm saying is, we're so fixated on celebrity culture. Again, it goes back to that because Barack Obama and him are in pictures together. He was able to get these primary votes. And years before this, 2-3 years ago, it was a trend to say Uncle Joe. He had a hashtag called Uncle Joe. And it was all these women and people saying that they thought he was sexy and he was funny and all of this wonderful stuff. We made this dude a meme online, and it gained a lot of traction and went viral. So he knew that all he had to do was pander to the people that were in love with Barack Obama. Not the policies, not the track record. Because somebody said, why didn't we let Kamala Harris be the Democratic nominee? Why didn't we support her? She was black. Well, somebody
cannibalized her.
Huh?
I say we cannibalized her. Same thing we did with Cory Booker. I mean,
Yeah,
we attacked them. I mean, we held them to a much higher standard than we hold Joe Biden to.
Right, and I'm saying,
and they're our own people.
And I'm saying that is because she wasn't a celebrity, and when they started digging and trying to get the political traction that, well, they wanted to hit her with the by the book standard because her track record ain't that great, and she's married to a white man. People wasn't liking that. That a lot of people were upset at those two things. Her track record in Los Angeles is piss poor, and people were upset about that. So it was easy to dismiss her. Cory Booker felt contrived. A lot of people were saying you was trying to be too black. Though. You wasn't out here trying to win the actual election. You was out here trying to pander to us, thinking that was going to be good enough. People didn't feel like he was being authentic. And again, because we don't know what we think is authentic blackness.
That's what I'm saying. And I know you ask for things, but these are just some of the tenets that I feel like it should be built upon. It should be built upon, one, us educating ourselves, whether that be, school wise as well as, socially. Mm-hmm. It should be built off community, us supporting each other, building each other up. It should be built off of, financial, building financial independence. I think are the tenets of what it should mean to be in community with one another, and be a united group. It shouldn't be, built off of, what you got and stuff like that. It should be built off of things that will really make a difference in personal responsibility, taking responsibility for, your family and things of that nature. All those are the things that the tenets of what it means to be in community with one another. That's what I think it should be built off of, not the kind of the frivolous things that it's been built off of in the past. We should be upset when we hear about somebody not taking care of their family, not being a deadbeat dad, not one of our fellow brothers that's not taking care of his responsibility. for us. Those are the things that should enrage us and get us mad, is because we know that not only, that's going to affect a generation moving forward of, they're going to continue to experience the same problems, that past generations have had from things like that. And, as I said, those are the positive things that are going to help us, propel forward. So
I was having this conversation, and I agree with you. I was having this conversation yesterday with Jarrell, because Jarrell was we was talking about one tenet inside the culture that we're struggling with, and that's black love. We was talking about that last week, and who should be in charge, and blah 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 blah. And one of the issues that came up was, well, whoever makes the most money should be the head of the household. That's a bad qualifying factor for who should be in charge of the decision and the direction the family should go in. Now, what I said in counter to that was what we had in the 50s and the 60s, although everybody didn't agree with it, although it wasn't the prevailing thought process for all African Americans all around the world at all times. We were deeply rooted in using the institution of the black church to advance our political agendas. No, not everybody was in the church was a Christian. No, not everybody in the church was a law-abiding, Bible-thumping, carrying member of the church. But everybody knew that the political power was centered around us meeting at the church, because these were the institutions and the buildings and the places that we can go and be there safely. That's the origin of watch night services. We went and hid in churches while white people was out there looting, getting drunk and partying. They wouldn't mess with us when we was inside the church building. That don't mean every person in the building was a Christian. Now, we've gone away from that. We've gone away from the institution of black schools. We've gone away from the institution of black nuclear traditional families. And look at what we have now. We just have this culture of get rich quick and by any means. So now we don't have a value system. We just look at money as the goal for black success. And that's killing us. Though we're in the same financial position, the same economic and real estate position we were in 60 years ago. Yeah, we got more billionaires. Yeah, we got more millionaires. Yeah, we got more celebrities. Oh, thank God for those three things. Yay. Oh my God, I'm so happy LeBron is almost a billionaire. But why we still own the same amount of fraction, the same percentage of homes that we did in the 60s? Why our health conditions are the same as they were in the 60s? Because we don't have a value system. We don't value anything other than money. And we want to sit here and complain about, oh, we need to, every black person is responsible for all black people. Okay, so what? Fine, cool. You go over there with that. But for the rest of us that's trying to fix this, we need to come up with a system, like you said earlier, that would make it really hard for Joe Biden to just come in here and serve us chicken and grits and tell us we ain't black if we don't do something. That's that. I mean, I don't know how many ways we can dress that up. It's on us. It ain't gonna change until we change it. So, you want to get the topic too? Somebody gave us a couple solutions we can try out.
No, you're saying, are you talking about what I alluded to earlier with the young ladies that are going to show the preview of the video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here at Mighty Sharp, we don't believe in just raising issues, complaining, and not giving y'all action steps. We never did that. We were never about that. And so we got to fix that. I think Marlena said she disagreed. Marlena, you're disagreeing with the history of the active black political struggle? 'Cause I can send you some scholarly documents if you want to read them. No, again, not every single person was a Christian, but.
I can kind of, kind of give more context into the situation with the black churches, because I went to the oldest historical black church, and I grew up in the oldest black historical church in Orlando.
Right.
Was around Christian? For probably. It was around for over 150 years, and I know that when I'm saying
in the church, just this, I love Jesus so much. It ain't never been like that.
But I don't know if it was a class that I had to take with you, but it was a class where what Africana Studies, to where I had to interview my grandmother and ask her some questions about the church. And, you know, it being the oldest Black church in Orlando, it was a church where, you know, that was like the center of disseminating, you know, getting information out to Black people in the community was through the church. And I mean, she went in depth about, you know, how there were several meetings, you know, at the church, you know, that didn't have anything to do with religion or with Jesus, but just a gathering place to where we can get ideas about, and still to this day, if a politician is trying to get elected, one of the first things they do is go to these old historically Black churches, because they know that that's like the old fashioned way of getting, you know, Black people on their side is through church, because they know that if they get, back in the day, if they got the blessing of the pastor, they got the blessing of the entire congregation. I mean, that was kind of how information was disseminated at that time. So yeah, so that is something that you know, I've, you know, kind of researched and done a lot of you know, gathered a lot of information on, is how information was distributed at that time was through the church. So
I mean, there you go. That's an example of what we've been using it as a crutch all this time. I missed the comment by LaShante, LA. He was saying we gave Biden the nomination because he was a great VP, and if he had done something like this back then, we wouldn't have gave him the nomination.
I know, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. But now we've given him the nomination, so now he feels like
I disagree.
It's whatever.
I disagree. LA, if we could look at his track record, he voted time and time again to set us back with some outrageous crime bills. I think we got a video.
I mean, if you listen to that entire Breakfast Club interview, that entire interview was him defending
his crime bills.
His crime bills. Like I listened to it in its entirety, and that was basically, he knew what he was going to get attacked on. From that show, and he came like ready to defend himself against that.
And so, you know, again, because you know what I mean, he played the role, he did a good job, hey, kudos to him, but we can't ignore what he did time and time again when he had complete autonomy over what he wanted to do. So, you know what I mean, it ain't enough, dog. It's not enough. So, let's move on to topic 2, man. Let's get to it. Topic 2 says, "What's our best move now?" Now we mad. You know, we've been affronted. All these other things, and primarily Joe is out here running amok. What we gonna do now? So I'm gonna let the sisters that have been putting in more work than I have personally give you something that they think we could do. It's not the entire video. It's about 3 minutes long. It is on YouTube. It is on the Washington Post's YouTube page, but we'll just run a quick clip of it real quick.
Vice President Biden, you need us. You owe us. Black women are miracle workers.
We have been saving the Democratic Party since 1965.
2020 is no different.
Your only path to victory is through Black women.
All right, so this is the current game plan that some of the political strategists, like Angela Rye and several other women in the video, 3 of them appeared in the video, are discussing, and this is something I've heard come up in casual conversation with some of my friends. People feel like the only way we can get this done right now, as in get something for our community from Joe Biden, since he's the Democratic nominee, is to get a Black female VP on the ticket with Joe. One that would be, as one of my friends called it, a Black mom who grew up in the inner city. Basically somebody like Michelle Obama. So, what y'all think of that? Is that something we need to have? I see Aquana saying, do we need to have a mission statement for Black people so we know what to do now? We do have one of those, by the way. There's actually something called the Black Agenda Report 2020. There's something called blackfutures.com that you guys can go in and check out. I'll put a link in the comments, but there are people out
and
there
there's
now that
also
are doing work.
Lift Every Voice. That's something that's been circling around as well.
Yeah, I don't think we made that though. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I can look it up real quick, but what y'all want, man? What's gonna make y'all happy? Because I personally think not enough of us are aware of the problems that we face in our own communities for us to be outraged at what Joe said. Not enough of us are outraged enough in our community or aware enough of who we should put in power to say we want a black chick a black woman as the VP.
As I'm gonna put it to you this way: as the great philosopher Chris Rock said, "A man is only as faithful as his options." And right now, Joe Biden knows that we ain't got no options.
He knows we
So
ain't got
Joe
no options.
Biden, he knows we ain't got no options. I'm saying, what's our recourse? Not vote for him? Vote for Trump? I mean, what's our recourse?
I mean, we can still demand that he has
Demand what? And if we don't get it, what's
a
gonna happen?
VP, a black VP.
And if he doesn't give it to us, what's gonna happen?
You still got to vote
Vote
for
for
him. Ain't nothing you can do about that. You're gonna have to vote
That's
for
what I'm
him.
saying. So
regardless.
we could. I'm saying it's too late in the game to demand anything.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How?
It's too.
So vote for him and just sit back and be like, oh man, we stuck.
Brandon, you're a single man
Right.
in Atlanta, right?
Right.
You're gonna wait till you get married to say this is what I want this is what I'm looking for in my wife. You're gonna wait till you get married, or you're gonna do it while you're single, while you got all these options available to you.
That's a bad
We
analogy.
waited until we got married to Joe Biden to saying, all right, this is what we're looking for in a candidate. After we only got one candidate that can provide that. As opposed to when we had all these options on the table, even some black options, we waited till we got all those other options are eliminated to start making demands now. No, it's too late in the game. He knows that it's either him or Trump. And he with him knowing that, he was saying, you can make all the demands you want, but even if I don't give it to you, I'm still better than the other option that you have.
So do we just give up once Biden wins the election? What do we do? Do we just be like, well, if we ain't got Trump?
I'm saying, I think if Biden wins the election, we hold his feet to a fire for another additional 4 years. We're saying, yeah, we got you in or whatever, but if you want to get in another 4 years, these are the things we got to do. Or even, I mean, it may sound crazy, but say, if Trump's no longer in the running or whatever, look at a different party. That's what I'm saying. That's why we can't, like Diddy was saying, we can't automatically say, all right, we're rocking, Democrat no matter what. If we feel compelled and one party's not meeting our needs or whatever, we have to look at the absolute best option. We can't say if we automatically go with one option, they're not as apt to meet our needs as they should be. When you automatically go with one group of people just because we feel like we have to do that. We're forced to do that.
I'm sorry, though. I just, bro, you was in half the classes with me in undergrad, and you know how crazy I used to be about this stuff, and how wild and still to this day a little fiery about it. Nigga, how many times we done read manifestos and declarations and tenets and commandments that were written by the political strategists of the day, and we couldn't get people to agree enough to get it done and implement it. How many times we done seen that? Denmark Vesey. Somebody just named the tenets of Kwanzaa. We got some black man. We got the Moynihan report, which is done by a white man that tells us what's wrong with us and why we can't be successful. And that was written in 1976. And then we have other reports that were written in 72. These issues have been around for 60 years, and we still ain't making progress. And so I said one person, I saw one person in the chat saying our problem is we won't unify. We just won't unify. Well, how do we fix that? Like, does anybody know how we fix that? Huh?
I'm saying I think by not being divisive over things that don't things that don't matter. You know, not making the same comment that Joe Biden made to your fellow black man, just because you have a difference of opinion with them.
I'm not saying we can't do it now. I'm saying, how do we get it done? What do we need to do to adopt and implement and execute and perfect and revise and implement and perfect and revise, aka deliberately practice all of these manifestos that are all about the African American community getting their ish together enough to have political power or some at least some safety? Because again, you go to Chinatown in New York, it's well documented. When they first got here in the 1850s, they had to deal with racism. No, they didn't. They didn't come under the same circumstances as in they weren't kidnapped, but they were here and they faced racism from white people, and they decided to turn inward and police themselves and govern themselves and sustain themselves and live together 5, 10, 15 people to one house until they got to the point that they could decide to branch out and buy more community space. Are we willing to do that? Because players, I talked to Tio last week, and he was saying something about talking to one of his relatives about the concept of just 3 of them buying a house in the same neighborhood. And he said the dude is like, so you mean I got to have the same house as you? Look how far behind we are. Look how much we hate each other. Not that you got to live in my house with me. I don't want to own the same house as you because, nigga, I want to be better than you. That's our problem, bro. We sound like slaves on a ship arguing about who got the flyest chain. Talib Kweli. That wasn't me. That is not mine. That is Talib's. That's also coming to America. That is not mine. That is Nietzsche's. Man, what y'all want us to do, man? What y'all trying to do in the comments? I don't lose hope, but I ain't being foolish. Let me tell everybody a little story about B. B was so pro-black in undergrad, B got kicked out of school because B stopped going to classes because there ain't nothing else they could teach me. I got the leading professor in the department that I was getting my degree from telling me I was one of the leading thinkers in the department. And when I heard that, I was like, well, damn that. I'm tired of just reading about black unity. I'm finna try to make it happen. And so I joined all these different organizations and these e-boards, and I fought, tried to get black kids to unify and put their money together and have a showing when black people was getting lynched and when black kids was getting beat up and killed at boot camps and when black people was getting ran over on 22nd Street by white women who didn't go to jail, and I just on and on and on and on and on. I got kicked out of school because my grades fell too low. And that's when I was like, you know what? Don't nobody even care, dog. Not that they didn't care about me, but I was just spinning my wheels, dog. I was like, you know what? If you want to talk to me personally, I tell you what I think. I tell you what you can do. Other than that, I'm in the frat. I don't even join that because I get tired of fighting with dudes. Because dudes they just want to party. Not all of them. Not everybody. Not all of them. But the people that were in my circle while I was in undergrad, it's a really big uphill fight for just me to try to win that. I've been told a few times that nigga, you ain't play as red, black, and green. So I don't give up hope. I'm just being wise now. Let me see. We got Brandon in the chat setting the thing on fire. He's getting heart emojis and whatnot. Let's see what he's talking about. People have to be informed on things that really matter. Shift their paradigms and understand the game. Learn the system. Start a business. V, that's true. That's completely true. We agree with you. Who's going to be the person that gets an entire group of people to do the same thing and agree that it was the best thing for the group to do? Barack Obama tried it. Michelle Obama tried it. Who got to say it? Beyonce? She got to say it? Jay-Z? Doja Cat? Joe Biden? Y'all like Joe Biden. Who got to say? I'm just saying, like, okay, it the 12 of us in the chat right now, we all agreeing. We all agreeing. How about this? Let's do this. Here's a challenge. Since if we're all serious about getting this thing done, here's a challenge. Beef and make a challenge. You heard it here first. Got your deep dive on what you need to do. I'm gonna put up 3 things that you can do if you're serious about making change happen in your neighborhood. Just in your neighborhood. First things first, fill out the 2020 census report. They sent it to you in the mail. If you ain't got it, you can go request another one. Fill that out. That's one thing. Make sure everybody on your street is registered to vote. There's 2 things. After that, go to blackfutures.com and read the Black Agenda Report for 2020. And then try to do 2 of the things that they said on that website. So, again, the 12 of us in this room together right now, we can do those things if we serious about it. And if you do it, if you like what I'm saying, come on the page. I'm going to put up a link to say if you did it, you just vote yes or no. Turn on the notifications. Make sure you got your notifications set so when I post something, you see it. Or when players post something, you see it, you get a notification for it. If you don't see it there, come to my page. I'll put it on my page. Time out for the talking, man. We got people out here putting plans together. Let's get 12 of us to do one thing together. 12. Can we get 12 of us to do it? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you can get those 3 things done. This ain't the time to be apolitical, aka sit out because you mad because you don't want to vote for the people that's up. This ain't the time for that. This the time to get engaged and try to change the direction of this ship. If you ain't about that life, you ain't got to do nothing. You just keep sitting here and complaining. I'm going to stop listening to you. But if you want to do something, put a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know. We got 12 of us. We can get this done. Just 12 people. Thanks, Brandon. That's 1 out of 12. I know Brandon about that action. Brandon actually, he's doing what he said we think we should do. He has a business. Ham about that action. I know Ham about his paper. I know Ham about advancement. Koshina, that's 3. 25% of us. Right? I can't put a thumbs up in the chat. It would just be the page liking itself. But somebody put a fist up. I should count for 2, but I ain't gonna cheat myself. Hey, Brandon just said something. Remember, in politics, ain't no friends, just common interest. Amen to that, brother. All us struggling, we all want that safety. All us tired of the Ahmaud Arbery's and the young lady that got shot by the cops on the wrongful home raid. We tired of it happening. So what we gonna do to stop it? I know them 2 different communities, but I think most of the people in this chat are in Tampa. Y'all shake something. But hey man, y'all serious about it? Just get it done. We'll put it up on the page. Y'all need to get on there and check it out. Facebook makes it hard for us to make sure everybody sees it, so I have to post multiple times and I have to put it on my personal page. But again, please turn on your notifications for the page so that you can be notified when we post stuff. I try to post things just once a day, so I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I know there's a lot of stuff fighting for your attention, but if we're upset and we want to make something happen, you have 3 things I just gave you can do. You can't say we don't have tools. We ain't using enough. We think building a house is only a hammer and a nail. That's not how that works. Let's get it done. I already said it. Go back and watch the playback. Put a thumbs up in the chat. I'm gonna put it up on the notifications in the page. Hey man, right now the leading thinkers in this political strategy game says we should get a black VP, black female VP. I'm gonna do some investigating and figure out how we can get that to happen. But I'm not gonna give up. I mean, if people want to fight, I help them fight, players. So I'm with you. It's too late to cry about Biden. It's too late. Now let's keep moving.
Right now, he all we got. Unfortunately,
don't look at it like that. Matter of fact, I love this. My future wife, Angela Rye, and maybe my future girlfriend, Amanda Sills, said, he ain't all we got. We all he got. He can't win without us.
He can't win without us, but who's going to win without? Who's going to win though?
That's that.
Who is going to win? If he don't win, who's going to win though?
I'm with you. That's a great argument, but we need to change our thinking. Miracles happen when we would shift our thinking about an issue. You got to shift your thinking.
You stole
I
that
saw
from
it, bro. I'm not. Listen, Amanda Seals said it. I agree. I'm not taking credit for that. That is not mine. That is Nietzsche's. Yeah. I'm not ashamed of that, bro. It makes sense, bro.
From a book. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
okay. How about this?
It was a dope bar, though. It was a dope bar.
Yeah. Like, what about what is it? Robert Nagasaki. I'm butchering the brother name, but he wrote
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. He said, man.
Yeah.
It ain't because both of the fathers wasn't teaching and trying to get work done. It was like they was looking at money wrong. You change your thinking about money, then you can make more of it. Change your thinking, then we can make more stuff happen. Biden, yeah, he sucked, but we don't need him. He need us. That's what y'all need to be looking at.
What's the alternative, though? That's my question. What's the alternative? What's the different option? What's the alternative?
Let me give it to you. The alternative is mute this because I'm about to cuss because I feel it in my chest. Fuck the presidential election. Work on your neighborhood, city, county, statewide elections. That's what is the game changer. Stop worrying about the president so much. Yes, vote for that. But don't be mad when you keep getting speeding tickets, making that left turn on the 56 from Bush, because that traffic light keep getting left there. Get your butt up and go to the doggone meetings and vote to have that junk taken down. The president ain't got nothing to do with that. What else we got to say, bro? That's where we at. Let's win. Let's win. We got one play. Everybody practice the play. And let's try to execute when it's time to execute. Again, fill the senses out. Go to blackfutures.com. Register for the Black Agenda 2020 report. And make sure everybody on your street that you think, you know what help us win, is registered to vote. You ain't got to tell them who to vote for. Just make sure they registered to vote. That's all you got to do. That's a good start.
Excuse me.
What we saying? Hey, welcome to the chat. Thumbs up if you bought this action. We got 5 of us bought that action. Thumbs up if you bought that action. If you missed it, I'm sorry. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I don't want to hold y'all captive. If y'all got more questions for us, what's up? Hey, Brandon, I agree with you. You can't win the game if you don't play the game. So, I'm spent, bro. What you got?
No, man. I think it's a lot of things I've discussed, so I think we're good.
Hey, y'all get out here and win the game. Get in the game. Learn to play. Execute the play. Let's see what happens. Because right now, they got more people with more hustling than we do. And that's why we keep getting what we got. So, hey, make sure y'all subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Stitcher Radio, Pocket Radio. Hit the notification symbol, which means you get notified when we post content. We won't overwhelm you with content. We're all about making sure everybody's winning. These barbershop talks are about the issues that are going on in our community. That's why we want to win. That's why we're talking and we're passionate about what we're saying. Let us know. Continue to support. Thank you for the support. These topics are brought to y'all from y'all. Thank you for the listeners suggesting what they have. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thanks for the interaction as well. I mean, it kind of live time, being able to respond and hear what people think is a big plus to us as well. So thank you guys for being a part of the show and interacting.